Hello everyone, welcome to It's Euphonic. Today I'm here with a brand new story called A Mother in Manville. The author is Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. So don't forget to put your headphones on and let's get lost in the story. The orphanage is high in the Carolina mountains. I was there in the autumn. I wanted quiet isolation to do some troublesome writing. I wanted mountain air to blow out the malaria from too long a time in the subtropics. I was homesick too, for the flaming of maples in October and for corn shocks and pumpkins and black walnut trees. I found them all living in a cabin that belonged to the orphanage, half a mile beyond the orphanage farm. When I took the cabin, I asked for a boy or a man to come and chop some wood for the fireplace. I looked up from my typewriter one late afternoon, a little startled. A boy stood at the door, and my pointer dog, my companion, was at his side and had not barked to warn me. The boy was probably 12 years old, but undersized. He wore overalls and a torn shirt and was barefooted. He said, "I can chop some wood today." "You? But you're small." "Size don't matter. Chopping wood does." He said, "Some of the big boys don't chop good. I've been chopping wood at the orphanage a long time." "Very well. There's the X. Go ahead and see what you can do." I went back to work, closing the door. He began to chop. The blows were rhythmic and steady, and shortly I had forgotten him, the sound no more of an interruption than a consistent rain. I suppose an hour and a half passed, and I heard the boy's step on the cabin stoop. The boy said, "I have to go to supper now," he said. "I can come again tomorrow." I said, "I'll pay you now for what you have done," thinking I should probably have to insist on an older boy. We went together back of the cabin. An astonishing amount of solid wood had been cut. "But you've done as much as a man," I said. "This is a splendid pile." I looked at him, actually for the first time. His hair was the color of the corn shocks, and his eyes, very direct, were like the mountain sky when rain is painting, gray with a shadowing of that miraculous blue. I gave him a quarter. "You may come tomorrow afternoon," I said, "and thank you very much." He looked at me and at the coin and seemed to want to speak, but could not, and turned away. At daylight, I was half wakened by the sound of chopping. Again, it was so even in texture that I went back to sleep. When I left my bed in the cool morning, the boy had come and gone, and a stack of kindling was neat against the cabin wall. He came after school in the afternoon and worked until time to return to the orphanage. His name was Jerry. He had been at the orphanage since he was 4. I could picture him at 4, with the same grave grey-blue eyes and the same independence? No, the word that comes to me is integrity. It is bedded on courage, but it is more than brave. It is honest, but it is more than honesty. The X handle broke one day. Jerry said the wood shop at the orphanage would repair it. I brought money to pay for the job, and he refused it. "I'll pay for it," he said. "I broke it. I brought the X down careless." "But no one hits accurately every time," I told him. "The fault was in the wood of the handle. I'll see the man from whom I bought it." It was only then that he would take the money. He was standing back of his own carelessness. He was a free will agent, and he chose to do careful work, and if he failed, he took the responsibility without subterfuge. And he did for me the unnecessary things, the gracious thing that we find done only by the weight of heart. Things no training can teach, for they are done on the instant, with no predicted experience. He found a cubbyhole beside the fireplace that I had not noticed. There, of his own accord, he put kindling and medium wood, so that I might always have dry fire material ready in case of sudden wet weather. A stone was loose in the rough walk to the cabin. He dug a deeper hole and steadied it, although he came himself by a shortcut over the bank. I found that when I tried to return his thoughtfulness with such things as candy and apples, he was wordless. Thank you was perhaps an expression for which he had no use, for his courtesy was instinctive. He only looked at the gift and at me, and a curtain lifted so that I saw deep into the clear veil of his eyes, and gratitude was there, and affection soft over the firm granite of his character. He became intimate, of course, with my pointer, Pat. There is a strange communion between a boy and a dog. Perhaps they possess the same singleness of spirit, the same kind of wisdom. It is difficult to explain, but it exists. When I went across the state for a weekend, I left the dog in Jerry's charge. My return was belated, and fog filled the mountain passes so treacherously that it was Monday noon before I reached the cabin. The dog had been fed and cared for that morning. Jerry came early in the afternoon, anxious. The superintendent said nobody would drive in the fog. He said, "I came last night and you hadn't come, so I brought Pat some of my breakfast this morning. I wouldn't have let anything happen to him." I gave him $1 in payment, and he looked at it and went away. But that night he came in the darkness and knocked at the door. "Come in, Jerry," I said, "if you are allowed to be away this late." "I told maybe a story," he said. "I told them I thought you want to see me." "That's true," I assured him. And I saw his relief. "I want to hear about how you managed with the dog." You will hear the rest of the story in part 2. Please subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you.